Good afternoon, and thank you for being with us today. Please join me in the opening prayer. The energy of love is within us and is us. Whole and complete is the I am that we are. We awaken to the truth of our being. We will this be done within and without. May we come to recognize that we receive all that we give. We know that we have forgiven ourselves when we forgive others of all grievances held within our minds. May we not be led into temptation by the voice of separation, but instead, may we transcend all illusions, for ours is the power of love and peace of Christ consciousness found within each of us, who is but the perfect extension of the one mind and heart that is shared by all and is our birthright as the holy extensions of love itself. Our affirmation of faith. We believe in one God, the author and energy of all life, whose love sustains the universe and all things found within it. Our 5 Christ principles. There is only one energy in the universe. That energy is love, at all times active in everyone, everywhere. 2, we are the divine energy of love, and that energy is found throughout the universe and in all things, whether seen or unseen. 3, we create our experiences by what we choose to think, feel, and believe, thereby establishing our responsibilities for our own choices. 4, through opening our heart center, we connect with the energy of love and bring out the Christ within us. 5, we express our desire to be of service when we live and demonstrate Christ's consciousness in all our affairs.
Thank you, Miss Penny. And I'd like to welcome everyone who is here, all those watching, and all those who will watch later in the week. Today I want to talk about hope. And I've titled it after what the architect in The Matrix Reloaded said. Hope. It is the quintessential human delusion. Simultaneous. Both our greatest strength and our greatest weakness. And I hope that those watching and who will watch later will share this message and like and subscribe to the channel so that more people can see it. I chose this because I've heard a lot of people say, I hope lately. And I'm going to say something that unless you are familiar with metaphysics, it may sound shocking at first. Hope is nothing but wishery. It's a part of wishcraft. When you say you hope, you really are saying you wish. And there is a problem with that. But I'd like to start with this. I love, as those of you who know me, I love the Matrix series of movies. And in the second Matrix, The Matrix Reloaded, Neo ultimately goes to meet the architect of the Matrix. And during their discussion, Neo is given a choice: to save humanity or to save Trinity. And there's 2 doors. He has to choose one. Save humanity, walk through it and save humanity, or walk through the other where he can save Trinity. Neo chooses to save Trinity. And in that moment, the architect goes, hope. It is the quintessential human delusion, the source of both your greatest strength and your greatest weakness. Most of us think nothing of hope. We think that it really is a good thing. But why did the architects say that? If you understand metaphysics to its deepest roots, you will understand why it is the source of our greatest delusion. But I'd also like to share something else, because I heard this in a Netflix series called The Sandman. And it was the first season. I don't remember what episode. And the Sandman, dream of the endless, goes to visit the light bearer in hell, because someone had taken something that belonged to him and he wanted it back. Well, the light bringer said, "We have rules, and you must fight for it." Well, the person who had it said and gave the challenge over to the light bearer. And because the Sandman, the dream of the endless, accepted the challenge, it meant that the light bearer, the light bringer, got to set the cadence, the rhythm, and the challenge. So they began. The light bringer, the light bearer, gets to go first and says to the dream of the endless, to the Sandman, "I am a dire wolf, a horse slaying, yada, yada, yada." Dream of the endless says, "I'm a hunter, I kill wolves." Now it's the light bearer's turn. Well, they go through several different things. Coming up to the end, at the very last one, and they were going back and forth, the light bearer said, "I am the darkness at the end of everything. I am the final judgment." And the dream of the endless dropped and was dying. And the light bringer looked down on the Sandman and she said, "What kills darkness?" He was gasping his last breath. And all of a sudden he stood up and light appeared all around him. And he said, "Hope. I am hope." And then he's completely wet. And the light bearer, the light bringer, knew she had been had. Because he looks at her and said, "What kills hope? What kills hope?" And there's the problem. That is why in the movie The Matrix Reloaded, the architect says it is the quintessential human delusion. But why is hope a delusion? Why is it delusional thinking? Well, here's why. Hope, it is one of the sources of our greatest strength. Because in the middle, no matter what we're in the middle of going through, we always can have hope for something better. So it gives us strength and resilience and gives us purpose and drive. And you would think, those are good. Yeah, yes. That's good. But there's a problem with that. Because it makes us blind to the current situation that we're in. Hope keeps us looking forward. It keeps us not just moving forward, which is all right. It keeps us looking to tomorrow, so that we think tomorrow will be better than the place we are in the moment. So hope keeps us tied to the future. And then we lose touch of the moment, our present state, which is where everything has to begin if we're going to change it. Yes, we can hope for better days, if that's what we choose, but that doesn't change where we are in the moment. That's the metaphysics. It is why it is the source also of our greatest weakness, because we become tied to the future. Because we hope that the future will be better. But where does better start? Right here. The future never comes. Someone told me a joke the other day. I'm going to share just a snippet of it. Forrest Gump passes away. He goes to heaven, meets St. Peter at the pearly gate. And St. Peter said, "Welcome, Forrest. It's good to see you. But I can't let you in because we're kind of a little crowded right now. But if you can answer this question, I'll make room." So Forrest goes, "All right, what's the question?" St. Peter says, "Well, Forrest, what are the 2 days of the week that start with a T?" Forrest goes, "That's easy." St. Peter says, "Well, what are they?" Forrest Gump goes, "Today and tomorrow." And there it is. That is hope. St. Peter had to let Forrest in because, in essence, it's the truth. There's only today and tomorrow, no matter what days we call them. But hope keeps us out of today, focused on tomorrow, always focused ahead where we're not in the present moment, which is where we really are. We look at hope and think how wonderful it is because it will be better tomorrow. The future will be better. We can make it better. But where does better begin? It begins right here, right now. The ego loves hope. That's what I want you to recognize. The ego loves hope. The ego wants you to remain as hopeful as possible. Because if you can remain as hopeful as possible, you're never in the present moment. You're always focused on the future. But there's something insidious about hope that I don't think many people recognize. The future has two feelings that go with it: anxiety and hope. Hope is the counterbalance of anxiety. So whenever we become anxious about something that we think is coming, we counterbalance it with hope. It will be better. But recognize, hope then is a weapon used by the ego against us to keep us in this false matrix that we're in. It keeps us bound to time. And you don't have to believe me. You can look up the work of Albert Einstein on time. It isn't real, but it is the greatest delusion. If we are bound to time, then we miss the eternal present, which is this moment. God, love, truth is in this moment. It isn't in the past. The past doesn't exist. How many people have I asked, bring me yesterday? Give me yesterday so that we can look at it. And they can't. And I've asked them to do the same thing when they're telling me about hope for the future. Bring it to me so we can look at it and both get excited about it. They can't do that either. I said, you're missing the point. The point is, here you are. You're right here, right now. This is the moment that you can do anything that you set your mind to. It may be hard work. I'm not going to tell you it's easy, but it is worth it. Hope will always keep you pushing and never really dealing with the current state of affairs within your own life. And that is the problem. That's the problem. And the ego knows it. Because you will never deal with, you will never fix any of it. Because we're hopeful. It'll get better. You've all heard it. You've probably thought it. Did you recognize that it is a weapon that the ego uses to keep you trapped and enslaved here in the false matrix, where we can always fix it, but at some later time? What needs fixing has to start right now, in this moment, which is where our power lies. And that takes me to the final delusion of hope. See, hope is a delusion because it gives us the fallacy of strength and power yet to come. But it never does. Certainty is standing in your power and truth in this moment. So just like hope is the counterbalance to anxiety, because the ego doesn't want us to stay wholly in fear, because we would look for a way out. Well, it gave us hope. Hope is the counterbalance, the way out, but is still off into the future. Certainty only is in this moment. And certainty is a confidence, a trust, and knowing that where I am in this moment is perfect. Because all is exactly as it should be and for my highest good. I may not in this moment yet recognize what it is, but I am certain that it is for my highest good. Hope, therefore, is the counterfeit of God's certainty. It is the ego's counterfeit because it is wishery, wishcraft. There's no wishery in certainty. There's no wishcraft. You're certain. And those who are certain are patient. They're gentle and kind and loving. Why wouldn't they be? Because they're standing in the truth in the moment. Find out how wishy-washy someone with hope really is. Can turn like that. And that's why hope is humanity's greatest delusion. it seems like it gives us strength and power, when it really robs us of both, because our strength and power is in this moment, not in some future time. We can only change this moment. We can change when we stand in certainty of who and what we are. This is where our true power lies. So the next time that you find yourself saying, I hope, put the brakes on. Literally, put the brakes on. And say, no. I would rather be certain in this moment than to hope for something in the future. Because I am in my power in this moment, not in some other time that doesn't yet exist. Stand in your truth of your being, in your certainty. Stand in God, in Christ consciousness, in the knowledge that you are, and we all are, His beloved children. Stand in that love. Because never forget, hope is the counterbalance to anxiety, which is nothing but fear. So hope is nothing but a cover for fear. And God is not fear. God is love. So when we stand in hope, we're actually standing in fear. Which means we are standing outside the truth of who and what we are. We're standing outside the power of the one who is willing to give us all. But we must be true to ourselves and recognize who and what we are. And we can only do that in the moment. Thank you for watching. Thank y'all for being here. And before we go into the meditation, I would once again ask that if you know someone who might get something out of this, please share this lesson. Like it, because it really does change the algorithm so that more people can watch it. Because we don't need to be hopeful right now. We need to be certain. Certain in love, certain in who and what we are. And if you would, take a moment, put both feet on the floor, close your eyes, and together, let's take 3 deep breaths. And on the inhale, think to yourself, I am. And on the exhale, certain. Once more, on the inhale, I am. And on the exhale, certain. On the inhale, I am. Certain on the exhale. And as we move into our inner sanctuary, that inner place of peace, serenity, knowledge, love, we do so with a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for where we are in the moment, not hope for some better things to come. And we sit in that place of peace, knowing that we are taken care of. We are loved beyond measure. And we are safe. now we sit for just a moment in the silence. As we come back into this time, this place, this space, this moment, we do so with certainty in our minds and our heart. We release the fear. We release hope, because we don't want to play in wishery. We want to play in certainty, where all things happen as they should and for our highest good. And with that, thank you for joining us. We'll be here this time next week. And please, go forward this week, certain in this moment and who you are. Thank you, and have a great week.